In this production, I am putting on record the soundtrack from the end of a webcast of a Sussex Police Authority meeting in 2006, for which I do not have the video. To preface that soundtrack, I am starting with the very first such authority meeting that I watched, as part of my attempt to identify the reasons for the lousy quality of policing in Sussex. On the 7th of April 2006, the chairman was Councillor Jones, who now seeks to become the first police commissioner for Sussex. Jones spent the first 2 minutes of the meeting welcoming people who were not members of the authority. A Lord Lieutenant, a Vice Lord Lieutenant, a High Sheriff, and 3 Deputy Lieutenants. Jones didn't say whether these visitors were claiming expenses. Jones then welcomed a visitor from Sussex Police, another from the Police Federation, 2 from the Superintendents Association, and last and least, 1 from Unison. Jones then said this.
To all of you, it's good to have you here. We like to make sure that we do our business in public and that people can see what's going on. This is, I hope, a very open police authority, and we have nothing to hide. We work in great harmony with our professional colleagues, Joe and his team, and it is really good to have you guys with us today, so welcome.
No one challenged the chairman or said what drivel, though all members knew as well as Jones how such meetings end. Agenda item 14. Any other non-exempt items considered urgent by the chairman. Authority members can raise a matter not on the official agenda, providing that the chairman thinks it urgent, and providing that the chairman does not think it should be kept from the public. With agenda item 15, exclusion of press and public, the webcast ends abruptly, so that authority members can discuss stuff to be hidden from the public and press. Here's the end of the meeting.
Okay, right. Are we happy to accept the report? Thank you. Good. Well, there are no other items, so we move to the end of the open session, and I'm sorry that I have to say to our guests that we now have to move a motion to exclude the public and the press from our proceedings, as we have to go into a confidential session to discuss a number of matters.
Moreover, there is a standards committee that promotes and maintains high standards of conduct by members of the police authority and assists members to observe the authority's code of conduct. The committee's terms of reference include control of whistleblowing, which might alarm the hoi polloi. The protagonist in the latter part of the video you are watching is a member of this committee. Elsewhere on this website it says that Daniel is a justice of the peace. Furthermore, the authority holds meetings in private before public meetings to discuss matters like serious police misconduct and to stage manage public meetings. Sometimes the chairman reveals that he or she has a list of speakers on an agenda item and knows what will be said and who should be allowed to speak next. Any other non-exempt items, however, may sometimes escape stage managing and reveal more than customary of what authority members are really like. One such occasion happened at the end of an authority meeting on the 19th of October 2006. At the end of the public part of the authority meeting, the chairman's concluding remarks are interrupted by Mrs. Carol Shaves. Before starting the recording, I will briefly put into context the matter raised, and then let the recording speak for itself. BBC News Online, 29th of October 2005. 5 young people have been killed in a road accident, with police saying they had involvement with the vehicle immediately prior to the crash. The accident happened in St Leonard's, East Sussex, in the early hours. A spokeswoman for the Independent Police Complaints Commission said, "We will be managing the inquiry, but the police will be running it." Another BBC report on the same date gave the young people's ages as between 14 and 17. An inquest followed in January 2007. The Argus on the 1st of February of that year reported evidence given by the police driver. The following is an extract from that report. After being alerted via his control room of a stolen Rover Metro, Acting Sergeant Sandeman, who was on patrol alone, spotted the car in the Hollington area of St Leonard's at about 1:30 a.m. He told the jury, "My initial intention, because of the number of people in the vehicle, was to follow it until more resources became available. This was in case the vehicle stopped and the occupants got out. I followed the vehicle to the top of Wishing Tree Road. As I turned out of Wishing Tree Road, the vehicle increased in speed. At that point, I indicated to the vehicle to stop by turning on my blue lights, giving them a double flash of my headlights, and by turning my indicator left. The Metro proceeded without hesitation. I made a decision on the spot to follow the vehicle and put on my sirens. As I reached 60 miles per hour, I wasn't gaining. I decided I wasn't going to make any further progress to catch up with the vehicle." On the 31st of January, the Argus had reported, Mr Sandeman said he was a Class 4 police driver, the highest rank being Class 1 and the lowest Class 5. He said he was not a trained safe follow driver and was not authorised to engage a vehicle in a pursuit. Such being the situation, what do you think would be the attitude of members of Sussex Police Authority? Would they be anxious to discover every possible scrap of truth about the matter by making inquiries themselves? What in particular would be the attitude of the authority member who raised an urgent matter at the meeting? She is currently Vice Chairman of the Sussex Police Authority, is the lead member for children and young people, and has been a magistrate since 1989. She was appointed to the authority as a magistrate member in 2005 and was subsequently reappointed as an independent member in 2008. Here now is the unedited audio of the end of the Sussex Police Authority webcast of the 19th of October 2006.
Any other comments, questions? No? Then are we happy to accept the report? Thank you. All right. There are no other non-exempt items or urgent items, and we move to that point where I have to ask non-police officers and members of the authority if they would... Sorry. Yeah, sure.
Most members will know that we're coming up to the anniversary of the car crash that happened in Hastings. That's all right for everybody to
Yeah, sure. Yeah, go on.
And I understand, obviously, that the IPCC were involved. They have come back with a report on from the IPCC, which has been given to the families, but which we, as an authority, have not been allowed to see. And I think that is an absolutely disgraceful situation. How can we possibly be ambassadors for the force if we have absolutely no idea what is in this report? And we have no idea when we're going to get it. The IPCC have not agreed that we should have a copy of this. So perhaps I can pass it over to Joe.
Yep, and I think John would like to comment. Yeah.
It is a matter of great concern, and it's something Joe and I have talked about. I've written on your behalf to the IPCC. Joe will report on his take on it as well. A next move could be for you, Chairman, to write to the Chairman of the IPCC about it, but clearly the present situation is most unsatisfactory. But I think Joe would like to amplify.
To make an observation, then an update. The observation is that I can
personally see no reason why the authority should not receive that report, and I'm not sure we'll need to explore whether the IPCC, providing the report to the force, can bind the statutory oversight role of the authority through its oversight of the complaints committee. I'd be surprised if they can in that way. However, by way of update, I spoke with Nick Hardwick this morning. I haven't resolved the issue because it is wrapped up in the resolution of both the IPCC inquiry and I think allied to that the inquest into the deaths of the young people. So I would ask members to be patient for a little bit longer, and we'll see if we can get resolution. But my position in terms of the authority's access to a report on a complaint matter in Sussex Police is, I can't see on what grounds that couldn't happen, unless the issue was an issue that separated the authority and the force, and they're very rare, and this isn't one of them.
Can I come back on that? I think it's very difficult to be patient. I understand where you're coming from, Joe, but I think it's very difficult when we've got a press who are quite prepared to stir things up where they can. I understand that the family are going to hold a vigil, the families are going to hold a vigil outside the house where this accident took place. And I just don't like being in a position, I live about 3/4 of a mile from where this took place. I do not like being in a position where I have no idea what this report actually says. Luckily, having talked to the local commander, Tony Blaker, he says that he has very good relationship with 4 of the 5 families. And it's only one family that has been causing problems, which is the family of the driver of the car. So I think we've been very lucky so far that the report hasn't caused too much problem and that the families haven't gone to the press with it. I've been watching every week the Hastings Observer to see what they make of it. But it is very unfortunate when members, particularly Laurie and myself, who are the nearest members, have no sight of this report, have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, Carl, I agree with you. It is a highly unsatisfactory position, and we can only push as hard as we can push on this, and we'll keep up the pressure. Yes, Joe, sorry.
Just one final comment in response. I absolutely support the view of the authority, and Carol, your comments as a member representing the Hastings area. Because of the stance taken by the IPCC, I can say this, that they have sensitised the issue of the report unnecessarily, because the content of the report, when it becomes public, will not, it will desensitise that issue.
Right, okay, thanks though for raising that, Carol. Yes.
I'm very intrigued in this indeed. Can I put a hypothetical question to you? Because I think this is a matter of great concern to me. Suppose it, if I asked, please, Joe, suppose it hadn't been a report that was, so to speak, artificially sensitized. Suppose there had been a substantial issue in that report. Then what would our position be if we weren't aware of it? I find it quite incredible. I thought we had an overriding. Could we FOI them?
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, we wouldn't be able to undertake our government's responsibilities. Indeed. And yes, I think we'd have to go to some pretty extreme measures, including either FOI or applying to the courts for redress. Right. Okay. Can we move on? Is it? Yeah. Can we just formally exclude press and public?